Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ian Yela, and this is a brief tour of my exhibition at HilbertRaum in Berlin. So just to give a little background, HilbertRaum is a gallery here in the city, an artist-run gallery. I was invited to come and make a piece after talking with the person who was doing the curating, Andy Holt, and we talked about what actually HilbertRaum was. So HilbertRaum in German means Hilbert room, but it also means Hilbert space. And that is a mathematical concept. I won't get into the math nerdiness of it, but it's related to mapping space, and particularly into mapping different types of space. So three-dimensional space, two-dimensional space, one-dimensional space, and even infinite dimensional space can be mapped. And it's a way of mapping one onto another. So I talked to Andy about this, and we talked about actually doing something related to the concept of HilbertRaum, of Hilbert space. And so I was explaining, I'm going to turn the video around now, if I can. I don't think I can, so I'm going to have to turn the camera around. Okay. And I was explaining some ideas about Hilbert space on this graph paper and what it is and what it represents. And so it turns out that I thought that the explanation of it was actually made for some pretty interesting artwork. So I took those sort of graph paper descriptions of it and used those as the basis for this installation. So I'm going to back away a little bit and show you some of this. We started with an actual grid. I have to go this way. And this was done with chalk lines that are used in construction. I use a lot of construction-based materials. And so we started with this grid, which is in and of itself a Hilbert space. So we already have a Hilbert space within a Hilbert space, meaning this grid inside the gallery. And then I just tried to come up with some interesting, what I thought were visually interesting, but also just for me in my mathematical sense and things that were actually even mathematically interesting, translations of Hilbert space. And try to make sort of a continuous sequence here on the wall that kind of sort of demonstrates Hilbert space and my sort of interaction with it. So I'm just going to back away and give everyone a little tour of the space. So forgive me if I don't get this exactly right, because I won't be able to see the screen. So let's hope this works. So these are all my way of basically playing with the concept. It was a really interesting piece to do because essentially it was like living in a piece of graph paper, living on a drawing for about 10 days and just, I wouldn't say doodling, but doing, just making calculations that I thought were interesting and to see what would happen. I'm going to show you a couple of details just to show the process a little bit, because there was actually a lot of trial and error on this. And yeah, so just take a look at how this works. So here we go. So you can see a lot of counting and numbers were involved, a lot of erasing. But in the end, basically all it is these chalk lines, paint based on chalk, and pencil on the wall. So that was the basics of the show. So I hope you all got a sense of it, and you can see what I've been up to. And so thanks for taking a look. I also just want to thank HilbertRaum again for the opportunity, the chance to come in and just make something up as I went along on the wall, do some things that based on what I